To become a Formula 1 driver, you need to start in karts,
which is, I think, the best way to start and to learn the basics.
You need to just work hard for it. Of course, you need the talent.
I think it's just a lot of practice and dedication.
Then you progress from karts to cars.
Obviously, getting the right people behind you to help.
And then you go single-seater.
You go to basically Formula 4,
Formula 3, Formula 2, and then
you get to Formula 1.
But sometimes also a bit of luck is needed because there are a lot of good drivers in the world.
Never give up and keep pushing and you'll make it.
There's a good wave of drivers that make it through, and there's generally one that rises to the top.
That's a good question. How fast do they go?
F1 car goes about 350 km per hour.
Some go faster than others, that's for sure.
Up to around 370 kilometers per hour.
In miles an hour, that's probably 230 or something.
Definitely quicker than your average road car.
An F1 driver wears his fireproof socks,
A suit,
pants and top,
racing boots,
earplugs.
balaclava,
I think I've got everything.
and most importantly, a helmet.
I don't know, I just throw the car into it and deal with it when I get there.
We are just trying to do the tightest corner.
It's about rotating the car without scrubbing too much speed.
So that's why we are actually using as much track as possible.
It's about hitting the right trajectory,
In the entry and in the exit of the corner.
steering as little as possible.
And trying to reach and hit the apex every time at the middle of the corner.
There's literally thousands of things that go on through the experience.
The undercut is when you pit before the car in front, have a lap of fresher tyres.
And use that extra performance on the new tires to gain some lap time on your opponent.
By taking this move to pit before Lewis Hamilton, Vettel could regain the upper hand.
And pass him while he is still doing that extra lap on older tyres.
So that when he pits, he will come out behind you.
Will he go past Hamilton or not? Sebastian Vettel round the outside. Sebastian Vettel gets past Lewis Hamilton.
That is the undercut.
Slipstreaming or slipstream in general is when there's a car in front of you, you are right behind. The closer you get, the less and less wind you are braking because you got the draft from the car in front. And then in the last second you pull out, trying to use the advantage in speed to overtake.
You just feel like you have much less air resistance as the car in front of you creates a bit of a hole in the air.
Your car has to wrestle through the air less, therefore you gain speed.
And you're actually faster than the car in front.
Sometimes 10, 15 or even 20 kph faster.
How many years does an F1 car has? 8 years.
A Formula 1 car has 8 years. DRS is short for drag reduction system to make the car go quicker on the straight line.
Kvyat will have DRS and he sails past in the Toro Rosso Honda.
So it's basically a movable rear wing. In the race conditions, once we get within 1 second to a car ahead, in the different kind of zones, we're allowed to use the DRS.
We can activate it in the straight. We have a button on the steering to open it, and then that's also what we use in the race when we're within a second of the car in front of us.
And it helps to just go quicker in the straight, not by the engine, but just by the little wing in the rear end of the car that is just reducing drag to go quicker in the straight.
Hamilton chases down the main straight, pulls out to the right-hand side and makes his way round and into the lead.
And the system is controlled automatically, so we can't cheat and use it whenever we want. We really need to be within 1 second of the car ahead to use it.
An F1 car has only 2 pedals,
Throttle and brake.
with the clutch paddle on the steering wheel.
Dirty air is the air that is behind a car you're following.
And all the vortices bounce off the car in front.
You're losing the downforce because the air is disturbed.
There are these things, there's this air spiraling around.
Which means you are losing performance as well.
And the car shakes. That's what dirty air is.
And clean air is when nobody's in front and you're in clean air.
That's it.
What is tire drag and how is it different to tire wear?
Tire drag is when the tire gets too hot or does wear off and you lose grip and performance.
And tire wear is essentially the same concept. The tire over time starts to wear down.
The tire keeps getting smaller and it keeps giving you less and less grip. So depending on the race, in the warm races you are more thermal limited. The other races where you put a lot of stress in the tire, you just wear the tire, and that's called tire degradation.
The yellow was just came inside to F1 back to last year.
The head protection, the black bar that you see on top of our heads.
This is a big improvement from safety reasons, and FIA did a very good job on this. Weight is a very important factor in Formula One. Of course, there is a minimum weight, which is combined with driver's weight plus the car.
And obviously the team wants to build the car as light as possible, so you have more adjustable ballast in the car. And drivers do want to be as light as possible to have more ballast to use.
During one race, the F1 driver can lose up to 3 kilos.
We always try to keep very consistent weight over the weekend, over the whole season, to be right on target at the end of the race.
Flashing red light at the back of the car at the end of the straight is what we call harvesting, and it's when we're recharging the battery with the thermal engine. So we're losing the electric engine, and the thermal engine actually recovers energy and charges the battery for the next throttle application.
You don't have enough battery every lap for every race to last the whole race. So basically you have to cut it a little bit each straight so you can do a consistent lap by lap battery management.
Downforce is the air flowing over the car, front wing or rear wing.
Pushing the car towards the circuit to have the maximum grip.
Especially in higher speed corners.
The more downforce you have, the quicker you are in the corners.
The best way to explain what oversteer is, and maybe also understeer, is to quote Walter Röhrl: oversteer is when you hear the tree, and understeer is when you see the tree.
The difference between over and understeer is basically when you have understeer, the front is sliding.
For me personally, understeer is the worst thing you can have as a driver, because the car just won't quite go in the direction you want.
And when you have oversteer, the rear is sliding.
If I need to go to the toilet in the middle of the race, I man up and hold it in. Can't do it.
Well, luckily I have not been in that situation, but there is no other option than just letting it go.
Some people do say that they go, but I don't know how, because when you're under so much force, I struggle to relax. I feel you need to relax to be able to go.